good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I know you're waiting for our Friday night. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. We're gonna give it a few minutes before we start. Just got back home, so I hope you will be able to join. Welcome, welcome. So, we are going to talk today about moving to Ukraine, pros and cons, just random thoughts. I will consider possibly, just 1 minute. I will consider possibly recording a more structured video on this because this one I'm just gonna share the thoughts, um, ideas, possibly some blind spots, Bill, for everybody who is considering moving to Ukraine. Since I've lived there and I live here now, I feel that I could give you some pointers as it does take experience, and we need to remember that traveling and immigration, these are very, very different experiences. Who would agree with me, guys, that traveling and immigration are very different experiences, right? Let us pop some color. I'm gonna pop some pretty in pink today. So let's talk about this. Once again, I would not make this video for those of you who maybe traveled, because you may think, oh, I've been there, I've been to Ukraine, it's cheap, it's easy. But have you been in Ukraine um, experiencing not a tourist life but a regular citizen life? So that is a discussion for today. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Glad to see you all. Thank you for joining. Let's see. Hi Stephen. Good to see you, my friend. Hello Jim. Welcome Lance and everybody. Hi Terry. Hi Bill, Jake, John, and everyone who is joining. So, and Wayne and Jamal. All right, and Chuck. Hi, woohoo! All my good people in the house. Yay! Welcome everybody. It's seriously so wonderful to have you. We are just starting, so let's get going. Since the room is full of good people that want to know, let's get started. So, okay, so you thinking moving to Ukraine? You think, okay, everything is cheap? Uh, like seriously, the dollar goes far. If you've been to Ukraine, you know that if you, well, you basically feel as a very wealthy person if you, as long as you made it there, and you just going and enjoying your experiences, you know that you feel super wealthy because the dollar goes far. But let me tell you, don't let that fool you about all the other aspects and all the other things that you need to know, understand, and research. So my very first tip would be, and please listen to this, I'm serious, this is the most important tip of this video. Before you move, before you burn the bridges, what do you need to do? You need to go and try it first. You can stay in Ukraine for several months and explore. Rent a regular apartment, not some luxurious apartment downtown, but rent a nice apartment, maybe in a newer building where people actually live. Just so you know, I'm from Kiev, so I'm gonna be um, talking about Kiev, but you will adjust. I cannot talk about every city in Ukraine. So we have a lot of nice places, and usually these calls regions. So regions, it's just regions of Kiev. It's Kiev, but it's not downtown. Nobody really lives downtown except for foreigners or renters. uh, Downtown may be for you, may not be for you. It depends on your situation. It depends on your interest, and so on and so forth. So you should consider, if you have a family, a downtown life is not very good. If you have, let's say you have a younger wife and you have small kids, downtown they're not even a playground. Or it's just, downtown has a historical beauty, has attractions. It's either for younger people that going out all the time, different places, events, or for those people who are young again, basically for those people who are just enjoying life, don't have to work, and have all the time to go places. Downtown is gorgeous. It's huge. It's very big, uh, and it's not necessarily super. I mean, you will meet a lot of tourists, so you can, if you go to some restaurants or you socialize, you will be able to speak English. You will probably meet more Americans, Italians, Turkish people, people from all over the world, because it's a downtown of a capital of Ukraine. But you need to ask yourself, let's stay on the thought. So you need to ask yourself, okay, if I'm moving, where will I be living? Downtown is more expensive, and downtown has less, in a way, it is less comfortable living than some of the regions that go from downtown, that are near the subway stations. In Kiev right now, they build a lot of new buildings that are extremely, they are new, they just nicely done. They're not from 1920s, which is kind of cool to have an antique building, but antique building has some antique problems, if you know what I mean. Uh, there is tons of cars and traffic jam and craziness. So it's kind of like some big cities in US, except you have big roads and you have small roads, and you have to watch. It's a whole different thing. If you're not a big city person, watch out. Watch out for your life and everything else, because people, they rush around, they don't care. They don't care about your problems. So it's a very, very busy city. Anyway, so there are some regions, and if I see interest tonight, I will make a video with edits where you can see particular areas that are good to buy or rent an apartment. Those new complexes, I start to say, they usually high-rise building, and they have great, they have very nice everything, such as things like water and heating. It's all very modern, antique buildings, and the worst Soviet buildings, they have major issues with utility. The whole utility thing, it can be very often messed up. You won't have the things that you're used to here in US. You're not gonna have in antique buildings. They have issues with water pressure. Those of you who went on a tour with me in 2018, I believe, was it 2018? I think so. We stayed in such a gorgeous place, but water pressure was awful, and the elevator wasn't working. So the guys who went on a tour with me, we rented this beautiful two-story penthouse on top of the on Podol, near Andreevskaya Cathedral. And the elevator, keep in mind, the old buildings, they can be beautiful, but the elevator, I'm not comfortable, because it was pretty antique and it was pretty scary. But guys, some of my guys were miserable going on the fifth floor, and I didn't know that it's a problem for some of the people. And no, first of all, I didn't know that we'll have to go on the fifth floor. So it was a great leg exercise, because we were I was not risking the elevator, but as a lady, I wear heels very often. So, but it's not a big deal for some people. So we were hopping up and down stairs, 5 flights of stairs, 5 flights up, 5 flights back. And you have to remember, in all the buildings, the staircase is real tall. So it was tough on some of my guys. It was really tough. So when I was getting the Airbnb, the description said 2 elevators. When we actually arrived, one elevator was out of order, and second one appeared real, but I was very suspicious. It was not a good idea to ride it, if you know what I mean. So these, I'm just giving you random examples. As I'm saying, today we're gonna be a little bit all over the place, and you're welcome to contribute. But I will consider, as I just mentioned, making a presentation where you can actually see the ideas where you could live. So if you actually want to live in Ukraine, if you want to move, you should definitely consider so-called regions, or in our language it's called rayon. Rayon Lipki, rayon, let's see, Печерский, rayon Kharkovsky. We have different regions in the city, and these are very, very modernized. They are excellent. Some of them are super expensive as well. I will show you my favorite, where I would buy that, just absolutely beautiful. And still, because of the inflation and dollar going so far, uh, you can get a great deal and buy a beautiful place. I would definitely, I would not recommend the downtown unless you have a specific reason why. So you have to understand, this is a general video, so it's not gonna satisfy every individual need. If you need help in person, you know what to do. You send me an email and we can figure out. And if I cannot help you, maybe I can refer you to somebody else. My mother has been in real estate since like 1999, so uh, she knows a few things. And I worked with her in real estate in early 2000s. I was a student, still in school, doing stuff, and it was great experience. You have to be very, careful about many things, and we're gonna get to this, okay? If you're dealing with somebody, since we talked a little bit about real estate, if you need to know somebody and you need to have an excellent translator, trust me, one thing you're gonna regret doing in Ukraine is do it all yourself. If you want to do it all yourself, you're probably going to end up in a place where, in a place of disappointment, because Ukraine is not as westernized yet, even though there is a lot more of investors and foreigners. It's not as westernized. So you may experience a lot of challenges. Just even go to simple administrative building, because almost 100%, nobody gonna speak English to you in administrative building. In fact, they're not gonna speak to you at all. Our government workers, kind of like state workers as here, receive very small salaries. So guess what mood they're in and how much they care about your problems. Sorry, Ukraine, but I love you, but I have to say the truth, how it really is. So basically, if you need to do certain things about your apartments, any administrative issues like that, you need to have an assistant. And that is not that big of a deal as long as you trust the person. It has to be a recommended high person that you truly trust, because you don't want to become a victim of a scam. It shouldn't be a cute girl, okay? It should be, well, she can be cute, but she must be a professional and somebody that you fully trust, because you can you can sign the papers that you gift in the apartment to her, or her grandma. Do you understand that any paperwork, anything that includes formal kind of thing, formal legal aspects, you have to have a professional in that area and a translator, assistant, somebody who speaks well, okay? It is very important, because unfortunately people, our law is our law is whole different subject, the Ukrainian law, but the law does not work. So okay, I'm gonna say this again. Our law sounds pretty good on paper on many things, but a lot of people don't care about um some people don't care about breaking the law, because guess why? Because they may get away with murder, basically. It's a figure of speech, but basically they can get away with a lot of stuff. So you have to have two trustful people with you guys. What do you think about that? All right. Let's see. Oh, thank you, thank you, Chuck. Oh my goodness, thank you. Wow, thank you so much. That is so that is so nice. Thank you. And it's matching my short today in my flowers. Thank you. Oh, it feels so good. I feel like a hug from an old friend. Um, Feel free to share. Chuck spent a lot of time in Ukraine. So those of you who actually had experiences, please share, okay? Let's see. I will get to you. I'm gonna make one more point, and I'm going to read your comments, because, as I said, today we are discussing stuff. This is not gonna be boom 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 video, because cannot show you the visuals right now, and I don't want to be the only one speaking. I want to share stuff. So now, when I'm all in pink, I'm gonna keep going. Let's see. You I saw that Bill wrote you have to stay at least 4 months. I would stay I would say that's too little. If you say you want to move to Ukraine, I'm gonna say this again. If you say that you want to move to Ukraine, you should at least spend 3 months and try to live regular, like Ukrainians. Yes, you may be able. I would say don't buy an apartment first. Rent a real nice apartment, and as I mentioned, I can give you some suggestions. I would say probably not downtown again, because that is not the best place to live because of the cars and traffic jam and a lot of other things and utility issues. I would recommend some high level or newer places in regions. Okay, so you can advise with some of the people that you trust that are already in Ukraine. And I would say stay at least for the 3 months and try to live. Well, you can, yes, you can work with visa, okay? Visa gonna be, I mean, you don't need visa, I think, up to 3 months. So that's about good time to figure things out. But you should really considering staying for longer amount of time and try not to live as a tourist and live as a regular person. You guys all know Taya Ukraine. She's wonderful. I have not met her in person, but we talked some time ago. You know some good people from Ukraine that you already even though it's online, but you know and trust them. Um, you should have some recommended people to you, because unfortunately I have to tell you and admit that in Ukraine a lot of times people take advantage of foreigners, because as a foreigner sometimes you are like blind in the forest. I'm gonna say this again. As a foreigner, without understanding the dynamic of things, without understanding the language and how things works, you are blind in the forest. Okay, so they unfortunately they're gonna be people try to take advantage of you, just like anywhere else it would be, right? Although I believe that majority of people are kind and good, and so on. Yeah, shout out to Taya. Hey Taya. Yes. Or thank you, Chucks. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate your gift today, for seeing you and for supporting the channel. And I know you met Taya, right? Chuck, it's Bella's Traveler 4 in 1s. I know you met Taya because I think I saw you guys having a meal or something like that. You probably know more because we had not meet with Taya in person, but as I said, she is to me is super sweet and nice person who really cares about her reputation, and she has passion for what she does. So I'm here, but she's right there. So I think you need support of some proven people. Plus, you can get recommendations. From people that you know, like, and trust, so you can grow eventually a little bit of a social circle, right? A little bit of your supporters. Full of history, yes. That's right. Bye, Bellas. Come back when you can, because, well, you see, it really depends if you traveled, because I know Chuck spent a lot of time over there. I probably won't tell a lot of new things, but I can tell you things that you need to consider, because you don't know what you don't know, and we all have our blind spots, right? So, all right, let me read some of your comments, guys. This is really a discussion and we're sharing things. Okay, I would highly recommend to stay on topic, okay? Unless you want to tell me something amazing. Yes, there are many blind spots. When people decide to move to another country, they have so many blind spots. And at least when you are aware of something, you know you have some options. You can prepare a little bit. Oh, thank you. I don't know who you talking, which company you talking about, Bill. If you send me the link of their office, I might be able to tell you something. I have no idea. There are very many companies. There are very many. There is numerous I mean, real estate agencies and so on. Wait, what did I just do? Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll talk about the medical stuff. So, let me see. Yeah, Stephen had traveled quite a bit. Yes, Kharkov, by the way, is a very nice town to consider as well. I have been there briefly, but it's a very lovely town. It's smaller than Kiev, but it has subway. It has a lot of historical buildings, lots of military stuff. Kharkov has been a capital of Ukraine some time ago, a while ago. So it's a very nice city as well. Hi Renee, welcome. Okay, Bill, I will. If you send me the link of their company, that would be the best. Okay, Renee stayed in Dnipropetrovsk. I haven't been there. So, Renee, feel free to share a little bit. So, I'm just giving you an idea. So, number one point is before you decide that, oh, the dollar goes far, I'm basically gonna be a wealthy person, the grass is so green over there, let me just hop on a plane, let me sell everything. Guys, please do not do that. You don't need to get visa to Ukraine. You can travel as far as I remember, it's up to 90 days, or not 90, 180 days or 3 months or something. It doesn't matter, but you can actually extend it. I have a member of Patreon club who is Ricky. You may know Ricky. He is in Ukraine. He knows all about how to extend your stay. I would stay. I would say stay as much as possible. If you're such a fan of Ukraine, if you admire the country, the food, I it just flatters me. I appreciate somebody loving my native country so much, but I also know the differences living there and then living here for more than 10 years in US, and there are definitely differences in many ways. So stay as long as possible. If you can stay for 6 months in Ukraine, you can create your social circle. You can rent a place and then maybe kind of find a place that you want to buy. If you can handle living as a Ukrainian, being able to figure out science that are in Cyrillic, you should consider learning. You absolutely should learn Cyrillic alphabet, because, as I said, Ukraine is, we have more and more foreigners every year, but Ukraine is not like Italy or Spain or Portugal, when there is always many um, tourists. You only downtown you will see science in English, and not even everywhere. A lot of things are going to be in Russian, or actually now more like in Ukrainian. But if you learn the Cyrillics, you can kind of read in both. Kinda. It will give you an idea how difficult it really is to speak another language. A side note, it's really, one thing that drives crazy every Russian or Ukrainian, when people try to tease our accent, and make fun of it. Sometimes it's cute, and sometimes that people enjoy your accent and they compliment you and they find it, kind of exotic. But when you get teased all the time for your accent, it's very annoying. And every Ukrainian and Russian think, okay, maybe, I speak with mistakes, maybe I have an accent, but, you know, most of the foreigners cannot even say hello in Ukrainian, or mm, have a basic conversation so you can understand. It's very, very difficult. So, a side note tip, never tease the accent, because it's very, a lot of Russian and Ukrainian people, they are very not sensitive, but they are very self-conscious. They are very self-critical. They already feel bad that they have an accent. Well, I don't anymore, but you don't know, before you come to US, you don't know that accent is attractive and it's different and exotic and all of that. You feel that you have a disadvantage. So you may even try to make a compliment, right? But you can hurt the person. I'm just telling this because once in a while I would be talking to somebody and they would tease my accent. it's the same if somebody has a you know, some kind of special thing about them, that is, maybe they try to work to get rid of it, and you would be teasing them. It's just not very nice. And yes, try to speak some Russian, sometimes, some kids, I live in a very small town, and sometimes kids, like teenagers, when they would hear me talking, they would try to make fun of me, and I would just break into Russian or Ukrainian, and their eyes would be like this, and I'm like, you know the moment you become bilingual or trilingual or quadruple lingual, you can make fun of us. It's just a side note, but just be very careful, because some people are very sensitive about these things. Wait till she figures out how exotic that is. So better compliment her. Ukrainian people are very self conscious. Yes, Jim is saying his friend hates her accent. Ukrainian people are very self conscious about these things. And that's just a side note. We're going right back. I hear a lot of people are sharing about this. Hi, John. Good to see you, my friend. John Paldrick, good to see you. Welcome. And okay. Yeah. It also depends on how you know somebody. First, you know before you're comfortable with a person, make sure you keeping it cool, and you correct them gently, not rudely. But that's a little different topic, but it's still connected, because when you are in Ukraine, you may have to stop random people and ask them to help you. You will have to, so you will have some friends that speak English in Ukraine, and very often you may need their help. So don't make fun of them, okay? That's all I'm saying. So let's keep going. Okay, Renee is saying, I have been going to Ukraine for 6 years now, and each year I have stayed in various places for at least 3-5 times a year. Wow. So what's your favorite, Renee? What's your favorite place? Well, we are talking about living in Ukraine. So first, if you can come for 3 months, great. If you can come for 6 months, check that out. Because when you stay for 6 months, you will see the real picture. A lot better. Okay? You know how sometimes, when, like, in my early college days, we used to go out, go different uh, lounges and clubs and dance places. I used to love that kind of stuff. Still like it once in a while. And so, you know how at night you come and the place sparkling. It has so many beautiful, intricate details. It's just magical. Okay, maybe it's a special restaurant or club or some kind of event, and the building looks so unique, and it just you just, oh my god, this is the most beautiful place. But then what happens when you see that place in the morning? And it's all cracked, and something is broken, and something else, and something else, and something else. Usually you don't want to see the night out place in the morning, because it's going to be looking quite different, and you're not going to have that mystery. You're going to sober up and realize, oops, this is a little different. So to get a real picture, you do have to live not like a tourist, but try to live like a local. Make some local friends. You can reach out to me if you're traveling. I could, recommend you some people that I trust, and then you can build from that. You can build your own. Uh, I want to believe that we have a lot of wonderful people that will just be very helpful and welcoming. But you have to understand, we do have people that would lie and scam. You have to understand that it's a big city life, And even if you are in a different cities than Kiev, uh, it just real life. I was in France one time. We went to Paris for a just exploration trip. I think I was about 19, maybe, or 20, and we were on this travel bus, and our driver went from his driver's seat of the bus to the very end of the bus to fix something. And when he came back, his bag was cash and his camera were gone. It was in Paris. Um, all places in Europe, all the big cities, you have to be very, very careful. It's not small town Michigan or small town Ohio or small town Florida. It's very, very difficult. You will learn to be on guard. You will learn to watch out for your surroundings. You basically gonna be like a taekwondo or uh, martial arts person, because you're gonna be watching out your surroundings, and you will learn how to varies. You actually need to feel your passport, or your documents. You don't go around as you do here, okay? So you will need some practice, and the longer you stay, the better practice you are going to get. I'm going to say this again: the longer you stay, the more normal people you will meet, the more connections you will make, the better it's going to be. So what do you guys think? How many of you, okay, question, how many of you could actually live for 3 to 6 months? How about we do it this way? How many of you could actually take 3 to 6 months out of whatever going on and go experience living like a local? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Terry. Oh my goodness. Did you say you can never go wrong with it? Thank you. Oh my gosh, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. It's gonna be a pink party. I would stay forever. Terry, how do you say that you would stay forever if you never traveled to Ukraine yet? Did you travel incognito and didn't tell me? Get the tissue. Well, I may have to need the tissue today. That is true, and I don't have anything around it. So okay, let me move the slide a little. Oh, why not stay? Well, no, I'm not saying that you should not stay there, Terry. What I'm trying to say is that maybe you won't like it. You hadn't tried it yet. So here is the thing, if somebody can take 2 or 3 months, or however many from your life here, it's definitely awesome. But if you know that you cannot take 3 months or 6 months, go for 2 weeks at least. You're gonna be a tourist, enjoy the tourist stuff. It's beautiful stuff. It's beautiful architecture, art, restaurants, events, jazz. I don't know if Aaron is here. Aaron was on a tour with me that 2 years ago. We went to a most gorgeous jazz concert. Um, it was that summer nights under open sky in a historical downtown Podol, the jazz concert. Oh, that was just beyond. It was absolutely beautiful. Terry, there is definitely a lot to do. It's it will keep you pretty occupied. I mean, it depends what you like, but no matter what you like, if you like nature, if you like art, if you like events and all of that, it's really, mm, I would bet that most of people would not be able to go just for 3 months out of the blue, but coming at least for 2 weeks. 1 week is too little. I want to tell you honestly, those of you who come, well, 1 week is better than nothing, but honestly, um, 1 week is, I don't know. I just need 1 week to wake up after that abuse of a travel. It takes about 25 hours to just get there, okay? It takes about 25 hours just to get there. So, if you think about it, your sleep is messed up. So, um, by the time you get there, you need to get your beauty sleep. Well, it may or it may or may not work, but you will need some time to just adjust to the local times, the jet lag. So 1 week is too little, to my opinion, but it depends on your health. Let's just say the pretty healthy woman as myself, I need my sleep. I don't know if you sleep on the plane. I don't. So sometimes, it really depends. You, but remember, it will take you about 25 hours to get there, at least. Mm. I cannot believe this. It's a pink party. It's a pink party. Last time I flew on a plane, there was this man, he was sitting next to me, and he was doing my favorite thing. You guys may know what it is. Yes, he was snoring like a wild animal, and he was falling on my shoulder all the time. Oh, it was quite an event. I do not recommend that. Don't try this at home. But at the same time, I mean, I have to put a pillow between us, so it's a little. So if you can fly first class or business. By the way, if you want to fly first class or business, it's really incredible. If you want to fly from New York, Ukrainian international airlines have the same price as Delta regular flights for business class or first class. That has been my dream. I have not tried it, but I heard good things about it. Oh, thank you, Bill. I think it's Bill. Thank you, Bill. And Bill is saying, "Look, I'm just trying to stay in the game." Bill, thank you for staying in the game. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oi, give me my pink. Where's my pink? That was yes, that was another thing. Thank you, Lance. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining the gang. The gang. Thank you for some yellow. I have all my favorite colors. I always have this debate between red and pink. It's a two fighting colors in my life. I love them both. Thank you. It is. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bill saying may not bring the tears, but can get some salmon. Tears are coming, so let's not say things too early. But thank you. By the way, the salmon supplies is getting low, so thank you. Thank you, guys. You know I'm joking. Well, not really. Thank you, everyone. Let's see. May not bring the tears. Terry is saying, I just want to see everything. Try all the foods and visit all the museums. That is a great plan because, you know, the food is, well, you should try it, but it has a great variety, mm, many places to visit and enjoy, and museums are incredible. Incredible. I don't know how else to say it. That's one thing I'm gonna say. Confessions of native, Russian or Ukrainian. We never knew that our culture or architecture or anything that it has, it is so special. Once again, because we have blind spot. Okay, Bill, blind spots. So we have an extreme blind spot when it comes to our food, our beautiful, delicious food, and our gorgeous architecture. Okay, I've never thought about this. I've never thought it was that special, but it is very special. So I definitely recommend you just enjoying these buildings. They have so much, they have incredible value. The person who actually, the Italian architect Rastrelli, who made, who built many, many things in St. Petersburg, built many things in Kiev, Ukraine. There was a same architect by the name of Rastrelli. He was Italian, and he built a beautiful. If you've been to Kiev, Ukraine, you know Podol, and Andrew's Cathedral, Andreevsky Собор. That was built by Rastrelli. Um, I remember studying that, and that when you look at pictures, you get a feel of things, but when you are there, you see that magic and this magnificent art work. So I agree. The cathedral and museums, it's absolutely, I love United States for all the cool new modern things and some not so old antique things, but there is nothing like that in United States for obvious reasons. So if you love the culture, the history, you will enjoy the travel. You will enjoy the travel for sure. You know, the sad thing that a lot of men go to see ladies in Ukraine, and when the lady does not show up, when the lady does not show up, many men unfortunately don't feel that adventurous, like they want to explore, and they sometimes end up sitting in a hotel room. I want to make sure that it's never you. Once again, when that happens and men are trying to meet non-existent women, or, well, you know what I mean, and they come there just for that reason. Sometimes they stay blind and they afraid to go out. If you put that much effort that you're traveling, you should be able to go and enjoy. You should be able to go and enjoy yourself. Okay? Let me read some of your comments, guys. And thank you so much for positivity in this room tonight. That feels amazing. That feels so amazing. Thank you, everyone. Terry, that was literally an uplifting experience. I loved not having elevator because it just, well, I did, but it was minority. In my group, yes, it was frustrating for the people. Old buildings gonna be old buildings. It costs a lot to refurbish. Some of the buildings got refurbished on the outside, but the everything that inside, the old, the pipes, the communication, the water, that is work in progress. So it was uplifting experience. Yes, I was uplifting myself up and down, but I grew up running stairs, so that was almost fun in a way, like a fun challenge. But there were very few people who appreciated, if you know what I mean. That leads me to a thing. You will be amazed how much people walk. Even if you have a vehicle, if you're somewhere downtown or even in some regions, we have so many cars right now. The traffic is insane. So that was one of the major challenges. Um, One of the major challenges was that we were walking a lot. If you want to enjoy the architecture, the views, the events, the churches, whatever you want to enjoy, you do need to walk. You don't Here you hop in the car and you hop on the highway. It's how you do that. But sometimes we would walk 10 to 20 miles a day. So not saying that all of you need to do that, but you just you may consider that. If you need to get a car, I do not recommend. That's something also, guys. Don't just come to Ukraine and buy a car right away. You first pay attention. Pay attention how the people are driving. Who have been to Ukraine, who is at the chat right now? Have you noticed the driving skills, or shall I say the driving style? So before you buy a vehicle, check out the driving style. Um, Subway is pretty awesome, and I believe it's reopening again right about now. Subway is Subway is a masterpiece. It's very beautiful, and it's the best way to get around. Except for those places that are far away from the subway. Yes, you do meet a lot more people when you walk and you socialize. Another thing, Uber is pretty awesome. Like, Uber is your friend. Uber definitely is your friend. Wait. John is sharing, gentlemen, please make the trip. It is beautiful to visit, but you cannot make a living there as you expect. Boom. And John brings me to another extremely important part of this experience, which is before you move to Ukraine, one of the most important things that you need to ask yourself is, how will I continue make money? So if you are, it really depends where are you in life. If you if you working, you have a career or some kind of arrangement, business contracts, whatever you do, if you can work remotely and your American salary will stay. I'm gonna say this again. If your American salary will stay, you're good. Even if your salary is pretty low for US or average, uh boy, if you can keep that salary, if you have the skills, and then request for your from your if your job or your career, your business requires you to be on computer most of the time, if you can manage from that, you can really have that experience of living in Ukraine and still getting paid in US dollars. But if you are not on that category, you need to think. John just hit a super important point, that if you do not make money online, if you do not have social security, and we're gonna talk about it, if you're about to retire or something, um, let's say if you don't have some kind of passive income, maybe you own some real estate, whatever, or you don't have some serious savings, listen, if you um if you want to try to find a job in Ukraine, my heart goes to you right now. I'm going to say this again. If you hoping to find a well-paid job in Ukraine, I can wish you all the luck, and I'll keep you in my prayers, okay? Because that is one thing, unless you run your own business, or you have some things arranged, on average, people, you can look up the statistics online. People literally making pennies on a dollar. So if you think that somebody will hire you, um, it's gonna be abuse for a couple $100 a month. So I've stopped working in Ukraine when I realized that I went to school, and now I have to go through. I call it abuse, because it is. So if you're an entrepreneurial person, you may be able to do certain things, but remember, you don't know Ukrainian laws. You don't know how things work. A lot of things are corrupted. A lot of things. I was working in Ukraine for a corporation. I've never gotten a clean salary. So you understand what clean salary? Clean salary is when you get your salary in the books. It's official. You have a payroll or something. The salary I would get would be in a envelope under the table, so called, we call it black cash. So I was always paid in black cash. My first official money I got when I got to US. Um, so why people do that? Because when you pay your employees, the government requires so much taxes that the companies cannot afford to have employees. So they put your official salary super tiny, right? Yeah, I think it's about 40 to 50%. So your official salary is super, super teeny, but you get imply your money in an envelope. How does that sound? I feel slightly evil, but I could never do that again. So you have to figure out, other words, to make long story short, you have to figure out how you're gonna make money. If you make decent living here in the United States, um, yeah, $200, $300. Some people make $500. I mean, it's total abuse. It's terrible. But on the other hand, when you really want to make something happen, you can find a way. You can still consult if you in that kind of business. You can still do a lot of stuff online. You can run your sales online. As long as you can do that. Or if you have a retirement, we're gonna make probably another life for the retirement, because I didn't have a chance to look into information for that. Um, you have to be mindful about it. If you think that you're gonna find a good job, you're not. But on the bright side, um, there are ways to invest in real estate, invest in renting apartments downtown. There could be more business opportunities. Just remember that Ukraine have very unstable law, and corruption, it's for real. To me, corruption is most unfortunate thing about Ukraine. That's like a little, nasty worm that eats the beautiful apple in your hand. I hate worms anyway. So that's pretty much it. When I was in school, so what I did is I had a job, but I was doing things, I was translating, I was working as an interpreter, and I was also doing real estate. So I've never was cool with making some pennies. That's just, or копейкас, even worse. I don't know, just it. I never thought that you should um settle for, I don't know, just I could never agree with that. So, if you are a super entrepreneurial person, if you know a lot of if you have a lot of experiences, you don't need my advice, okay? But I want to tell you, be very careful going into ventures with local people. That's a whole different story. So anyway, the major point is find out, do you can you have some income coming in, or maybe you don't need that income to come. Maybe you have savings and you have enough. I think Terry mentioned something about um, coming and helping families. Terry is all about helping people. Terry is just, you're just like, I won't be, I won't be surprised if you will make this a reality. I feel that you have such a natural drive to be helpful, but um, in Ukraine you may need to learn a little more because you don't want to help the wrong people. That is a problem. Let's see what Terry was saying. I believe you were sharing something about going and helping people with their needs. I think it's a great idea. So, as long as you're not planning to make any money on that, and you can get prepared to live for a while and not working, I don't see why you couldn't do that. I think it's a wonderful idea um, to help people in need. Honestly, that's a whole different video. I think um, finding good purpose, it is a wonderful thing. Everybody needs to make a little bit of research, because I want to tell you honestly, when you help financially wrong people, you make things worse. A lot of people, when they come to Ukraine, they see poor people begging on the street, or they see gypsy kids going around. When you helping these people are part of the mafia, and if you help them, you create more suffering. But that's a whole different story. But there are plenty good causes, there are plenty of charities, there are plenty of people that trying to help social, they're trying to help the um, vulnerable people. And vulnerable, excuse me, vulnerable people are the people who are it's children and older people. These are people that can no longer help themselves, or can't help themselves yet. Once again, and this is one of the sad things. This is one of the sad things about Ukraine that separates Ukraine from other more stable and more civilized. Uh, European countries, and that is the most vulnerable people are not protected, which are once again children, people with disabilities, and elderly people. You know, you can actually make a difference being on the mission, doing beautiful things. But once again, if you want to do that, and Terry, I like your idea, but if you want to do that, the best thing you can do is, you will need a little bit of guidance, because um, it just hard to know, what to do without guidance, right? And you don't want to help somebody who puts a child on the street to beg, and then they beat the child, and then they put drugs into the child, and it's just horrible. So these are very sensitive topics, but help is definitely needed, and you can do a lot of good. Guys, just by travel to Ukraine you help, because you buy products, you support the local economy, you can literally go to the store. Guys, one thing that you can do that can never get old, when you go to the grocery store, and this may make me cry right now, so uh okay, I'm gonna say this. If you go to the grocery store and you see some older people, some veterans, some elderly people, these people are most unprotected. They sometimes can barely scrape to buy bread or potatoes. And it's really sad. It's really very sad. And you can never go wrong to do the paid forward thing when you stay in the line and you have somebody behind you and just pay for the groceries. If it's a you know an older man or woman, they uh most of them are struggling. Even people who were doing okay, with all this economical shake, uh it's it's really hard to imagine. Some people just struggle to buy the necessary things, and it's really horrible to see how some of the it's really horrible to see how some of the people treat these elderly people. Just so you understand, everything that you see in Ukraine is not exactly Ukrainian. I'm gonna say this again. All these buildings and infrastructure and factories and subway, this is not Ukrainian. It was built by people of USSR. It was built by all these people. It was built, most of the infrastructure and everything was developed during USSR. And all these people who are older right now, these people put their life on building this all. Nobody will tell you this, because we are, unfortunately, Ukraine becoming extremely nationalist, and I absolutely hate the nationalism with passion. Um, I'm both Russian and Ukrainian in a way, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All the people were building this. Everything you see, from the subway to the building to everything, is built by these people. And guess what these people have right now? I'm not even gonna talk about the veterans, the people who, because of these people, we are, I'm talking to you right now, like literally, because of these people, you are able to hop on a plane and see this country. Um, and we still have few veterans left from World War II, and these people had their late years struggling, not being able to buy the necessary things, not being able to buy um, things that just necessary, essential things. And okay, I'm gonna stop because I just want to say, if you shopping or you're doing something, one of the most incredible things you can do, look around you, uh, look at somebody who is struggling and just do something nice. They would be eternally grateful. Eternally. So I just want you to know that people that need help, they will never beg you. People that truly struggling, people that deserve to live, um, dignified, normal life, is they are struggling, and the government does not care for them. Everybody, um, in United States, somebody just wrote about corruption. You want to know what corruption is? Go to Ukraine, see multi-million and dollar houses, and see people on the street, and see no social support. The social support that people get is a disgrace. The pension of the people is a disgrace. The child support is a disgrace. The orphan support is a disgrace. So before you shit on American government, go and check out how other people live and what they have for dinner. And I know most of these people who I have, they understand these things, but before you do that, check out how other people live. That just gives such a great reality check. And what is the most sad is these are the people that earned their right to live on a certain level. They did so many good things for the country, and now they are the most vulnerable citizens. So I'm gonna stop. I can't talk about it. you know we can talk about we can discuss these things, but if every person does something nice, this world will become a better place. You don't have to do whole a lot of people think that if you're not wealthy, you don't need to be wealthy uh, to do those things. Yes, so when you see people who doing something good, do good things for him. I wanted to make videos because we did some random acts of kindness in Ukraine, but I felt kind of weird making videos about it because I didn't want it to come out as, oh, look at me. But if you think about it, there are always going to be people who will criticize you, but on the other hand, it can be inspirational. A lot of people would love to do it, but they don't know how to do it and they do not have an idea. So I actually think that doing beautiful things for people and making videos is not a bad thing, as long as you use it to inspire others, right? As long as you use it to inspire others, um, it can. When we see something somewhere, it can inspire us to do the same thing, right? Not to brag, but to show, hey, you can do this. So, boy, that's a different Friday night show. I don't know. It's really difficult to talk about these things. Just yeah. So some people have amazing stories. There, that's the most beautiful part of travel. Yes, it is a beautiful country. It needs some help, but younger. I believe that younger people, like active age, let's say, or active and healthy people, they doing pretty well. Even if they struggle, when you're young, when you have energy, you don't have to struggle in Ukraine even because Ukraine has internet, but people learn about, oh, I can open my own art shop, or I can do my sewing, or I can do I can help people to learn Russian language or Ukrainian language. Younger people, you can see people, like Taya and Olga, Reznikova, and other people. They can be very entrepreneurial, and there are many ways to make money. Um, oh yeah, yes, younger people, but for older people, they don't even know what internet is. It's extremely hard for them. It's terrible, really. Oh, when I was working, I had 10 different job. So you can find things to do. Oh, that's really so sweet, Terry. I mean, that's so thoughtful, and I already offer a lot of services for no charge. Just want to help and inspire others to get involved. That is a very beautiful mission, Terry, and that sounds like you. I'm just gonna say this. That sounds like you, and that sounds very something very natural, something that just flows, and I think this idea is a beautiful thing, and I hope more people will get involved. Definitely share and update us, here on this channel, because there are so many people that want to help, and just don't know how. So, but anyway, again, on the bright side, once again, if a 19-year-old, or how was I, 19 to 24 or something like that, can make living. I was making some money over there, but I was working till late nights, but I just wanted to, I just had the curiosity about this all. And there are always ways to make money, and young people, or generations who are adaptive, or people who are adaptive overall are doing a lot better because they find in opportunities, they find in different gigs, they are a lot more skilled to make it through this time. So that would be really cool if companies moved to Ukraine from China. That would be pretty cool. But that's a whole different conversation. And don't say the world, let's not to bring this whole virus catastrophe. So many positive messages on our Friday night. Right. So, those people who travel, it really brightens your horizon, and you really find your inner world are incredible, becoming so much richer. Can you find women in their late 30s, early 40s that think like an entrepreneurial and who are maybe activists? There are the type of ladies I'm looking for a wife. I don't know, Ellen. Can you? Be hard to do it on your couch. Oh, thank you, Terry. It is nice. And so, guys, please contribute because I don't want to load more information. We talk about preparation, we talk about staying in Ukraine for long amounts of time. And if you're on a Zoom, if you have Patreon account and you're on Zoom with me, we have Ricky. Ricky takes his sweet time when he talks, but I love you, Ricky. But we all do. But he's living right now in Ukraine. By the way, Ricky is a great example because he's living in Lviv, Ukraine. The prices for life is lower in Lviv than in Kiev. And Lviv is a beautiful, cultural, historical, very much old European place. And Ricky has online business. He does technical IT, website developer, and all of that stuff. So he works online, and he's a, you can't take him out of Ukraine. I mean, I don't think he ever. By the way, he's from Michigan too. He lives about 2 hours from me in Michigan, and I had met Ricky in person, and yeah, he could. If you have patience, Ricky really have great experience. Does he lives very he enjoying his life. Um, he works online, and I don't think he's coming back to Michigan at any time soon. So that's another perspective. But he's up all the time because he's on tech support. You know, he does websites and all of that. He's always up. Yes, Ricky is always up, and he's always tired. Yes, but he's a great person, and he's doing a lot of stuff. So if you're on Zoom, you can ask Ricky more about the way he does things. Yeah, he does something with apartments. I think he doing something like that. Yes, Jim. But you know, he loves what he does. He's good at what he does. So hey, he found a way. I can tell you, in many ways, I would rather be in Lviv, Ukraine, than in Monroe, Michigan. So I'm gonna tell you, it's Lviv is a tremendously beautiful town. It's tremendous in architecture. It's really spectacular. Um, my grandparents lived in Lviv, so I've been there many times, and it's so beautiful. It's a beautiful town. It's very has very elaborate architecture. It has great character, atmosphere, lots of things to do. Yes, Ricky knows some stuff. Yes. Oh, that is so beautiful, Terry. Terry. Um, I want to read this. Key to eternal life is to touch the lives of others. That is so true. So true. You know, some people think that they need to have like physical children to, you know, change the life and all of that. I say you don't have to be an actual parent to change the world, you know. You can touch people's lives, and in many ways you can do a lot of things. It's so true. You have no idea how much you are just hit the nail on the head on that one. People also are a lot more open about their emotions. You know, when I came to US, it was very difficult for me at first because everybody, to me, it seemed like everybody had some kind of a mask. If that makes sense, everybody's like, "Hi, how are you?" And you know, it doesn't really mean anything, and you don't know what somebody is feeling. And it's, I like the politeness in being you know, open and gracious, but sometimes you just don't know. um I like, you know, one thing about I like about the Ukrainian culture is that people pretty much tell you how they feel, you know? People pretty much tell you how they feel. And I find it a lot more refreshing. At the same time, I do appreciate when I go somewhere when somebody does not drop, 10 pounds of something on me. So, you know, there is always like a middle ground. 40s? I don't know. I don't know, Bill. I don't know exactly what you mean. Um, it just, if you ask somebody how are you doing in Ukraine, people will actually tell you how they're doing. Here, that's just a way. It's a just cultural thing, and you're supposed to say, "Oh, I'm great," or "I'm fine," or "I'm well." And sometimes people say that, but they put some energy to that. So it's kind of like, "Hi, I'm great. I'm doing well." Yeah, it's kind of a false politeness, but there is a part of me that likes it because there are moments when I really don't want to hear about people's problems. I want to have a break. And it's always, when people are always, but when people are always have this politeness mask, you never know how they feel. Like you just can't understand, right? Well, you don't have to worry about that over here. Yeah, Minnesota folks will tell you how they feel. Yeah, right. I mean, there is time and place for everything, but there is definitely these cultural differences. Kids, Terry is saying kids need positive influence and someone who genuinely cares. Yes, very true. Very, very true. They do require also a lot of other things, but this is a very important element. All right, guys, any last minute comments, questions? I will not drop any more ideas. I think you kind of, once again, getting um, vision. I definitely, dear friends, I definitely do not recommend, selling your home gym. I know you appreciate your friend, but please don't sell your home before you actually meet her, okay? I know you are wise man. I know you are a smart person, but I'm just telling you, from my experience, do not sell anything before you travel and then before you spend time as an actual Ukrainian. As an actual Ukrainian, oh my god. I can't believe I just said that. Well, if you lived, like, as just a minute, you live like a local, just sorry guys, I'm just making myself comfortable. um Stay as long as you can, make some friends, guys. you know Sometimes, there is divine times to meet people. Don't be obsessed about women. People come into our life just as a time when we are ready. Don't get obsessed about women. If you stay in there a long time, uh, not every woman you're gonna meet is going to be a woman for you. In fact, 99% of ladies you will meet will not be not gonna be a special one. But make friends. Make friends. Friends. One thing that you need to know: friends in connection and connections in Ukraine equals to gold. I'm gonna say this again, my tagline: friends and connections in Ukraine equals to gold. It's totally different than what you guys call networking, whatever you call this. That's all. In Ukraine, when you have friends in connections, good friends and connections, you can you need that social you need that social circle. um you really do. We will talk, I'll make another video about we'll talk about retirement in Ukraine, we'll talk about health insurance, medical care, what's going on in Ukraine about the nursing homes and things like this, because most of you guys don't really have this information. What it takes to really be there, decide to be there till the end, if you know what I mean. So please, before that, do not sell any property, any houses. Um, and if you can work from uh, remotely, once again, you may have a great opportunity to visit Ukraine, to be in Ukraine by working from your computer. That is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. So you can feel, how do you feel, you can feel how do you feel, boy, I'm getting tired. You can check out how things work for you and have a back plan, because it's gonna feel very weird to work for $2 an hour. You know what I mean? So being creative, finding alternative ways of making money, some passive income, real estate investment, and things like that. And if you want to just go kind of on a mission and help others, that is a beautiful thing to do as well. Jim is saying no nursing home for me. I plan to fight till the end. But Jim, you don't really know about these things. We all, believe me, nobody feels hot about going to such a facility. Boy, it must be so depressing. But you do not, we do not know. So we can hope and think, but life, you have to realize that that could be one of the options. Do you understand? Because unless you have somebody to take care of you, um you don't know. I'm not saying you will need it, and I love your attitude. I love that. I love that attitude. And I don't feel like that's a great option. I can't even imagine anything like that, being independent and active person. But just because we don't want to think about something, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I'm going to say this again, as I usually do. Just because we don't want to think about something, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So you need to have a plan B. You really do. And nursing homes in Ukraine is an undeveloped industry. So for those of you who are thinking about retirement, that's what I'm telling you. Before you sell anything and move out, the nursing home is a big major question. I need to make research, because when I was living in Ukraine, I think hell looks better than nursing home in Ukraine, if you have a choice. So I need to make research and talk and do some research in Russian and Ukrainian, and then I will share. Yeah, I know. Yes, you'll just have to party, Jim. That's right. Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words, everyone. I know it wasn't a fun aspect, but hey, it's life. Thank you, Bill. I don't know what you mean exactly, but thank you. I appreciate kind words. Yes, make Ukrainian friends in US and Canada. And guys, when you make friends, if you have a crush on a lady, but she giving you a sign, like you're just friends, don't ruin it with that thing, okay? Just don't. Friendship means a lot more. You may need it a lot more. You can always find things for your personal life, but when you meet great people, um, make sure that you respect the boundaries, okay? Make sure you respect the boundaries, because if you will try to go over, and the person clearly gives you a sign that that's not the way to go, um, stop it and appreciate the person for who they are. And just the fact that they're female, it doesn't mean that things need to go into depths. It doesn't mean that things need to go further than friendship. Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, I'm so glad, because I know some of you are considering this. I don't know if I'll keep this live here on YouTube or not, but as I mentioned, I'm considering it may take me a little bit, so I will do the. I would like to do presentation so you can actually see the visuals of these things that I was mentioning. But it may take me about a week or so. Bill, it's not meant to happen, so it won't. I'm just kidding. Guys, I know how men are. You're talking to a daddy girl over here. I know exactly how men are. I'm generalizing, but I love you all. But I know you too. So hold your horses. Hold your horses. Oh, it's a big generalization, but I know what I'm talking about, okay? Wow, Terry. Terry says expecting a PowerPoint presentation with lots of pictures. No, I'm gonna disappoint you. It probably won't be a PowerPoint. If you're really curious, I'm just gonna show a few things. So it's gonna be probably a video with things that will pop and give you a little tingle of a heart attack. You know, good night from Texas. Yes, that's a good way to be. Right now, I'm blessed and content with my friendship. Very good, Jim. That's what I want to hear. And let's see. Yes, I don't promise PowerPoint, Terry, but I will. I promise. I will. I mean, I'm considering doing some visuals. Texas, yeah, I love Texas. My favorite state. I mean, I'm saying this even though I never lived in Texas. You understand? But I had some great time. In Dallas. Thank you. Thank you, Terry. So, guys, thank you so much for the participation. And I will let you know about some updates and some things. Um, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support, all the kind words and comments, and of course, contributions from you. Thank you so much, everybody. I may not always show everything I feel, because I don't know if you can handle this, but I really appreciate you all. I really do. Um, some people, um, thank you. Some people just do not understand it. Unless you have passion for what you do, there are certain things you cannot do. Do you guys agree? I'm gonna say this again. Unless you have a deep passion and drive for what you do, you cannot do it. You cannot fake passion. You cannot fake. My son was telling me, "Mom, like you cannot live without the videos. You cannot live without. You're addicted to your technology." And I told him, I am addicted to helping people. I am. It's very true, but I cannot change it. So thank you for thank you for being here. And yes, everybody says yes, yes, agree, thank you. uh I love Frisco. I've been there about two years ago. It was so much fun. Great energy, especially for those people who love football. We went to the Cowboys. Oh my god, it was a great time. So shout out to Texas. I love Texas. I love Florida. I love everything. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone. Um, I will look at the comments again. If I missed something, if something else I could do. All right. So I have a little surprises coming out on probably Sunday night. So have a little rewards for those of you who are extreme supporters, and I just want to recognize you and just make you feel warm and fuzzy. If you are not feeling fuzzy yet, okay? So good night, everyone. I will see you so very soon. You will see some updates. Um, Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for your generous support and for wonderful feedback. Um, I hope you have a wonderful night of sleep, and I will see you very soon.